Good evening. My name is Sandy Liu. I'm the president-elect of the Allen Rotary Club. Thank you for being here. I wanted to introduce our moderator, Steve Matthews. Steve Matthews first moved to Allen in 1997, and since that time has served as the chairman of the Allen Chamber of Commerce, chairman of the Allen EDC, served on the PTA boards at his son's schools, and chaired various community initiatives over the years. A former Rotarian and Paul Harris Fellow, he currently serves as the senior vice president at Collin College.
Good evening, everyone. So it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. And first, we're going to hear from our candidates for Allen ISD School Board. And let me go over the ground rules a little bit. First, I want to make the audience aware that we are live streaming this event. It's on the Friends of the Public Library's Facebook page, and it'll be on their YouTube channel in a day or so if you want to go back and watch it later. The organizers of the event have been collecting questions over the past week, and those were all forwarded to me to ask. A lot of those have been combined so that we cover as much ground as we can. Candidates will give opening remarks in the order that they're listed on the ballot, and then closing remarks in the reverse order. In the meantime, I'll mix it up a little bit. The organizers have asked me to remind you that since it is being live streamed, to withhold your applause until the end so that it doesn't interfere with the recording. And so the candidates and I were together last week, and so they'll be familiar with the format a little bit. I didn't want to have 8 stanzas of the same song. And so what we did last week was I broke it up a little bit by place, which gave us an opportunity both to ask more questions and also just to kind of keep it mixed up a little bit. So we'll do the same thing tonight. They're going to start with 2-minute opening statements. And Dr. Parker, we're going to start with you and go down. And then we've got 6 questions of each place to ask, and then a 1-minute closing statement at the end. And we'll take a break, and then we'll do the city council after that. So let me begin by introducing the candidates. First, the candidates for place 2 is Dr. Bill Parker, Sam Abiog, and Christina Cabral. And those candidates are running for the remaining 2 years of the term on place 2. Candidates for place 4 are Amy Knott and Joe Boylan. And the candidates for place 5 are Elle Holland, Snober Lakhani, and Kelly Riley. So thank you all for being here. With that, Dr. Parker will start with the first opening statement, and you have 2 minutes. Sandy down here is our timekeeper. She'll give you the warning at 1 minute, at 30 seconds, at 15 seconds, and then stop. And I will ask you to close if you haven't already. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Bill Parker, and I've lived in Allen since 2017. I'm the son of teachers. My mother's a retired teacher. My father was a teacher and a coach who later worked in college administration and later the ministry. I didn't want to be a teacher. We lived modestly. I saw how we lived. It was the 80s. It was a go-go time. I wanted to make money. I went out, got my degree elsewhere, traveled the world, was in the military, traveled the country as a registered nurse. But in 2007, I took a job as a substitute teacher, just a short-term job, and that's when I realized that I'd missed my calling for 20 years. So since 2007, I've been in education. I've worked as a science teacher. I've worked as an instructional coach. I've worked as an assistant principal and principal. I've worked as a district director. In 2020, 2021, I oversaw all of the virtual learning for Richardson ISD. And I'm currently the magnet principal at Richardson High School in Richardson. I have both a master's degree and doctoral degree from Lamar University. I'm running for this seat because I think I've got a lot to offer the citizens of Allen ISD. I'm not running against anyone. Last year I thought about running, but I didn't see a problem. I didn't see a reason to run. We lost a good man this year, and I want to complete the work and honor the memory of the gentleman that we lost. I have the experience in the district. I have experience at all levels of administration and teaching, and I think that my education, my dedication to public education and experience make me the best candidate for place 2.
Hi there, I'm Sam Abiog, and I'm running for Allen ISD Trustee Place 2. I've served the district for 14 years and just loved living in Allen. I'm a mom of 4 Allen students that have been very successful through going through the district system and just building relationships and friendships. I've served in leadership roles within Allen, and I just learned how our community works, listening to people and making sure that we can collaborate together. People from different groups can come to consensus, and I've done that, ladies and gentlemen. What I want to talk to you about is what I've done through these 14 years. I've worked as and served as a PTA president at Allen High School and at the middle school. There, we budgeted for teacher appreciation, for student scholarships, and worked closely with the Allen High School college and career counselors and the middle school counselors to bring information. Our parents now living and having students in school, it's a maze out there. There's a lot of information that needs to be directed to our students and their families, and I want to champion that in the district. I've collaborated with our district personnel, bringing counselors to the middle school and to the high school. Just these college and career tools, for example, like Naviance and Canvas. We've made this happen in our district. We got parents engaged. I'm running on 3 platforms. Academic excellence. We want our students and teachers to just have the best opportunities. We want to give and support our teachers so that the burden that the state keeps mandating is alleviated and that our students are able to be taught. Second is improved transparency.
Sam, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Catch the rest.
Good evening. My name is Christina Cabral, and I'm running for Allen ISD Board of Trustees, Place 2. Every single day, my world revolves around service to others. After retiring from 19-plus years in the finance industry, I dedicated my time fully to advocating for the needs of students and adults in educational and community settings. I have 2 kids, he just turned 15, and 4. And after my second was born with multiple disabilities, I founded a 501(c) nonprofit to support awareness, advocacy, and education for our students and families. I'm proud that to date we have donated over 500 books to schools, hospitals, and NICUs all across the country to help support programs to increase awareness and education and advocacy for families with differences in medical needs. I started volunteering in classrooms during special events and on the executive board for our PTA when my oldest started kindergarten. My experience and my knowledge in special education, advocacy work, and working with families through my nonprofit has given me an understanding and an expertise that you cannot get from working in administration or in offices. It is a time that you walk the walk with parents and teachers next to you. And it is hard to duplicate that experience in any other means. My ability to navigate and collaborate with others to find solutions to those issues and challenges that I understand on an intimate level because I have been there. That insight and understanding, along with my dedication to supporting all learners, educators, and our staff to have what they need to succeed is what I want to bring to Allen ISD. I'm running for Place 2 so I can continue to support our diverse community, our teachers, and our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Amy?
Thank you, Steve. I'd like to thank my fellow Rotarians, the Sunrise Group and our Noon Group, and the Friends of Public Library for allowing us the opportunity to visit with the candidates this evening. My name is Amy Nod. I'm running for Place 4 re-election for the Board of Trustees. This is my 4th term to run for this seat, and I'm running for this position again because I feel like the public education is experiencing some difficult times, and I feel like that the District of Allen needs some experienced personnel on the trustees' seats to be able to lead and make decisions at a critical time that affect both our staff and our students and our taxpayers in a way that keep us strong and keep us abreast of the situation and keep us as number one in the state. And these decisions are difficult, and that means that they have to impact all of our students and impact all of our teachers and ensure that all of our taxpayers are readily heard and addressed when we make all these critical thoughts and decisions made. So I appreciate your consideration for my vote and look forward to seeing you on the polls.
Hello, I'm Joe Boylan. A little background on me. I have lived all over the world. I'm a military veteran. I've been doing IT of one kind or another since I learned my first programming language at 8 years old while living with my grandpa, who was a Lutheran minister. Currently, I have 3 special needs children that are also in the gifted and talented programs. I have helped them with getting in the 504 and IEP programs. I work in financial technology as a team lead, and I think my background as a leader and in the financial technologies could be a great asset to Allen ISD. Thank you.
Hi there. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for the Friends of Allen Library for hosting this event. I'm Mel Holland. I am originally from Minnesota. I got to Texas as fast as I could, as many of you have. Actually, I was promoted with JCPenney's at 23 years old. Lived in Grand Prairie, fell in love with a man named Tim. Had a 15-year-old son, Austin, who attends Lowry Freshman Center. He is the inspiration for me being here. I have a long history volunteering in this community, in this district. I started out as room parent, enjoyed that so much, and then progressed to PTA executive board. I was vice president of programs, and I focused on anti-bullying campaigns, anti-drug initiatives, character building, all of the things to help these children navigate through these years. And it was very rewarding. Then I was the co-chair of SHAC, that's the Student Health Advisory Committee. We just got done reviewing sex and health education curriculum. We reviewed that to make recommendations to the board, which we did. That should be implemented this fall. I just love volunteering. I see the fruits of my work, and I want to continue that in this district. I think that we have some opportunities here, and I hope you'll vote for me on May 7th. Thank you so much.
Hi there. My name is Sanobar Lakhani, and I'm running for Allen ISD Board of Trustee, Place 5. I'm a mother of 3 children. My youngest is a toddler. I have a middle son who's in elementary school, and my eldest is a daughter in middle school. I believe in a great public education and supporting the needs of parents who value the same for their children. So a little background about me. I'm a public health nurse leader. I care about health, safety, and well-being of all community members. I've worked in various leadership capacities professionally and within civic engagement in the community. So I've been involved in outreach in my professional role, working in a nonprofit in which we provide nurse home visitation to families in need. I've also worked as a volunteer in many roles, supporting leadership opportunities in healthcare, where we have worked across the nation to provide underserved families with health fairs, flu vaccination clinics, mammogram scan vans, and many other health opportunities. My work in maternal child nursing and my relationship with patients has been my key in fueling my passion as a civil servant. I'm a mom, and I've also supported PTA endeavors across my children's schooling. The diversity that's here in Allen has been enriching, and its very top-notch education is what brought my husband, Shaquille, and I to Allen ISD in order for our family and our children to have these opportunities. So I started my early education in elementary school in Collin County, and when we decided we're coming back to Texas, I was very happy to provide this to my family as well. I really feel Allen is an ideal place for any family to raise their children, and to make impacts on the local community would give me the opportunity to give back. I'm honored to be here today in order to have the opportunity to serve on the board and to serve families across the district. I want to ensure that we are acting in local areas of fiscal responsibility and transparency for all of our taxpayers across Allen ISD. The end product should be an education that's unbiased and that brings our community together. Thank you.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Good evening, I'm Kelly Rowley. I'm running for re-election for Place 5. I've served on the board for almost 6 years now, and it has been an incredible honor to do so. We have an incredible administration, and I am just incredibly proud, I say incredible a lot, proud of the work that the board and the administration has done, especially over the last couple of years. Everyone knows how challenging it's been. And I feel like we have really stayed focused on the right things, which is students and teachers, and making sure we're making the good decisions in those areas. I've lived in Allen for 28 years. My children went through the school district. I have 2 boys. I serve as the director of accounting for a small nonprofit museum, and so I understand the world of nonprofit and finance, and it helps me understand school finance, which is, as we all know, an incredibly complicated subject. I just feel like the experience that I bring and working with the team that we have has equipped me to be able to continue to provide the level of support that the district needs, and to help continue to guide it through these difficult, challenging times, because Allen's amazing, and we have amazing students, and we have amazing families, and we have amazing teachers, and I want to make sure that we keep focused on the right things. I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all very much. So we have 6 candidates that we're going to ask 6 questions we're going to ask each candidate. 3 of those we're going to ask all candidates to respond to, because I think it's something that you'd want to hear them all weigh in on. But the other 3 we're going to mix up among the 3 places, and we're even going to alternate the sequence of response just to kind of mix it up a little bit. This first question, though, goes for the candidates in place 5, you 3 on the end. And Sonobra, we're going to start with you, then Kelly, and then Elle. Okay. And the question is this. You have 1 minute to respond, and Sandy's going to give you 30 seconds, 15, and then the 0 mark. Oh, you don't have the 15. Okay. Can we pretend one of the others is?
Okay.
I think you'll appreciate it. Okay, we'll do that. The first question is, how should the district plan and pay for needed facilities to support growth and ensure that resources are equitably distributed among our schools? And Sonobra, if you'll start.
Thank you. I believe that bonds are very helpful in this situation, as long as our bonds are packaged and propositioned in order to give a clear and transparent understanding of what is covered. We do need infrastructure to be improved in order for our schools to be up to par for where they need to be for our students and for our teachers and across the community at large. So definitely bonds are my thought process on having that opportunity to improve.
Okay, thank you. Kelly.
Again, bonds are really the only way to pay for infrastructure improvements. Our operating budget is 80% paying for our people, paying for our staff. And there just aren't operating dollars available to make major improvements, just like with most people's houses. So there really is no other option. That's why the state has allowed school districts to do that, is to do bonds. And I believe we've done an excellent job of making sure we have never put out bonds that we can't pay for. We're very, very careful about that. And as far as the resources being, again, we are very careful about making sure that all of our schools are equally well equipped, and that they're all great, and they're different, but they're great, and we make sure that those resources get put where they need to be.
I think that when it comes to the bonds, that the public in general has sticker shock when they're so large, $200 million, $225 million. So I think smaller bonds would be a better idea, more focused. Also, I think there's an opportunity to partner with the city on certain items. For example, tennis courts. I believe they're needing maintenance. We could partner with the city on a large tennis court type facility, and the school could reserve it at certain times, and the public could use it at certain times. And that way we're, as a city and a school district, we're maintaining that together. And I think there's some options here that we really need to look at.
Okay. Thank you. This next question is for the candidates in place two. And Sam, we're going to start with you, and then Christina, and then finally Bill. What is the biggest issue that you're hearing from voters as you campaign for this seat?
Oh, that's a great question. Number one is academic excellence. I had the opportunity of speaking to a younger family and one that had an older family in high school. Both wanted to, we do have a great academic system, and they want to ensure, they just want to have that same opportunity to continue going from elementary school to the high school. The next thing is, of course, they're like, we love our teachers. We want the same teachers. We want, our teachers to be happy. Again, I will repeat myself. There has been, of course, a lot of burden put on teachers currently where they have, to make all these state mandates, and, teaching opportunities are shorter. So teachers and great academic excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. Christine.
Sure. The number one thing that I've really been hearing from parents, speaking to them, is educational equity. Are we treating all students fairly? Are they all accessing different portions and benefits that we have here in Allen ISD? And we have many. There are many things that we're proud of here, but are we ensuring that all of our students have equal access? Whether that doesn't mean in necessarily a physical meaning, access to programs, access to facilities, access to training and educational modalities. So, parents are wanting to ensure that there's inclusion and that we are embracing the unique talents of all of our learners and supporting them to their best.
If you'd asked me this question yesterday, I would have agreed with Sam. I think our teachers are one of our greatest assets, and academic excellence is so important. But we started getting tax bills from the Central Appraisal District in our mailboxes today, and my email box filled up. They can't believe how their appraisals are. They can't believe what their tax bill looks like. And so I think really, today, I've heard from more taxpayers today about their tax bill. And I think that it's going to be very, very important as we move forward under House Bill 3 and the school finance formula. As our growth slows, our allotments are decreasing. As our property values increase, even though we've rolled back and compressed the rate, we're still paying recapture. And we need to be able, in this zero-sum game, we need to be able to make sure that we can budget the way we need to budget to provide academic excellence while still maintaining our being able to look our taxpayers in the eye. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is for the candidates in place 4. And Joe, we're going to start with you and then Amy. In your opinion, has enough been done by the district to protect against hacks? What steps would you recommend to improve cybersecurity in the future?
Well, that's a difficult question because you can't ever 100% protect a system. I mean, unless it's completely turned off and buried in cement at the bottom of an ocean, there's going to be some kind of vulnerability. Have we done everything possible? I'm not necessarily privy to that information. I do know that the response from last year, while I have not seen all of it and would love to see more of it, there was a security audit. What was done with the information from the security audit, I would also love to know. But that is the first step in securing your system. The next step would then to be educate all of the people that have access to that system and also completely encrypt all of your information from end to end. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know that when we had our security breach in the fall of 21, it was a very abrupt situation that delivered a eye-opening experience for our district, and we had fortunately the correct personnel in place to address the situation, and we were able to bring in the right resources to quickly respond and control the exposure. And what was nice about that, we were able to develop a plan and bring in all the developed control methods that we needed with the appropriate response and equipment, both hardware and software, to address any kind of future mitigated issues going forward. And so I'm very pleased with the response and feel like that we have a good control program in place now.
Thank you. The next question, question 2, we'll start with place 2 on this one. Christina, you'll go, and then Bill, and then Sam. What are your goals to ensure our kids are college and workforce ready upon graduation?
Certainly. So, the environment's moving faster and more challenging. It's not certainly getting easier. So a big portion to ensuring that our kiddos are ready to leave our wonderful, amazing city of Allen is to ensure that we're giving them a broad and diverse education. They need to understand the world that they're going to be stepping into. It's not necessarily going to be similar to Allen. So having those experiences and the opportunities to network and communicate and collaborate with others to get a broad-based understanding will empower them as they move forward to speak eloquently and effectively regarding issues.
Thanks for the question. Is it
Bill's
Bill?
next.
Oh, all right, go.
Allen ISD has really been on the forefront and forward-thinking when it comes to career and college and military readiness. I say career and college readiness rather than college and career readiness because I think we're in a day and age where college education is becoming less important, and usable skills and industry-based certifications are meaning more and more in our industries. Allen has done a really great job of partnering with corporations and businesses to come to Allen. We've got a beautiful STEAM center. We've got a great technical education program, and we've got a really great relationship with Collin College. I would like to see us continue to focus on career and college readiness and military readiness. The top 10% are going to be the top 10%, and they're going to go to college. But we've got so many students that can be productive members of society and raise families and be proud of themselves through career and technical education.
Thank you.
Yes, so you're right. I mean, top 10% are headed to college, top 20% are headed to college. Allen ISD has great relationships not only with our local college, Collin College, but also with Stephen F. Austin and relationships with our state schools. Allen has done a great job preparing all our students for different aspects. We have from welding to jewelry making to the ag program. So Allen ISD provides a wide array of educational opportunities for all students. I want to stress also about our college and career counselors. They hardly get a plug put in for them. I would encourage parents to reach out to these college and career counselors because they can help your student navigate through their college experience, whether, pick out their interests, pick out what's their, future goals. And we as parents continue to have these opportunities right here in Allen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The second question will be for place 4, and Amy, you'll take this first, and then Joe. What steps do you believe the board should take to balance the student populations at our elementary schools throughout the district?
Oh.
And you have 1 minute.
Well, that's going to be a tough one because we're about to tackle that probably coming up in 22, 23, probably 23, 24. What's going to happen is right now we're seeing a lot of the shift in the west side, northwest side of Allen, where a majority of our growth is occurring. And we're not seeing as much growth on the east side of Allen, so we're going to have to start to shift those kids and somehow over to the east side. It's going to take a conversation. It's going to take also a conversation about our pre-K is going to open up to full day. So do I have the answers now? No, but it's going to have to take a conversation with our leaders. It's going to have a conversation with our campuses and a conversation with our families.
Thank you.
That's a very good answer. Yeah, I know that we have district lines and everything. I think it would help to open things up and allow students to go to other schools, allow busing between the schools, things to that effect. Maybe also open up something like a virtual program if that's possible to allow more students to be enrolled, but not necessarily in the classroom. And just, yeah, things like that. I would have to see some more into the situation for it, though. Thank you.
Okay. And finally, the second question for the Place 5 candidates. Kelly, we're going to start with you, and then Elle, and then Cinnober at the end. Do you feel like the district does a good job communicating with parents? What additional steps would you take as a trustee to ensure good communications with the community?
I feel like we do. I know not everybody always agrees, but all of our meetings are open. You're welcome to come. You're welcome to speak to us. We have an email that we respond to very promptly. We're always available to talk to people. We've tried different things in the past with some open forums, and we're always open to doing that again. Some brown bag lunches or just some different town hall type things. Those are always on the table as opportunities if we decide to do that. We have multiple streams of communication: email, website, social media. We try to hit all the ways that people might be looking for information, because we know everybody wants to find information differently, so we really try to hit all those arenas.
Okay, I'm up. So I think that when it comes to some of these board meetings, City Council allows parents to sign up online during the day to speak at a board meeting. And I believe that's been very beneficial to the community, and parents feel like they're heard. I'd like to see something like that implemented on the school board side as well. Also, this is, and I'm getting a lot of feedback about parents, when they have a concern, they come to the principal, they go to a teacher. Some parents have to take a day off to do that, and that's not easy to do. So I think that we're missing an opportunity with follow-up. I think there needs to be, a 4 to 5 day business day follow-up where the parent gets an email or a call or something saying, I spoke to this teacher on this day. What happened? And I know there's privacy in regards to that, but you don't have to put the details. Just validate the parent's concern and say, on this date, I spoke to this person, that person. Thank you so much. If there's anything else you need, please contact me. So I think there's a real opportunity there.
I think there are different levels of communication. So we've heard from both of my fellow candidates about district level along with direct campus level. I think communication and open lines of communication are very important to prevent any barriers in communication. Parents, I've spoken to some parents who are working 2 jobs. They're not able to come to a board meeting or even come into the school to speak to a teacher or principal if they have a heightened concern. So if there would be an opportunity to email, like Elle suggested, maybe even virtual opportunities to have a Zoom meeting. We have technology at the forefront. It is an encrypted technology. Let's utilize it. So if a parent's on a lunch break and is able to hop onto a meeting with an administrator directly at the campus level, and it is a heightened situation where they need to communicate, the parent shouldn't have to take a day off to come into the campus. But when it comes to board meetings, there should definitely be opportunity for open forums. I love the idea of a town hall, or if parents sign up in advance and they're able to have time allotted at each meeting where parents can voice concerns that are district-wide. Thank you.
Thank you. This next question we're going to ask of all candidates, and there's no easy way to do this, but Kelly, we'll start with you and just come all the way down. How do we retain our teachers in this environment and continue to recruit the best for Allen ISD? And, it's easy to say, well, we just hope for more appropriations from the state, but let's assume that's not going to happen, because it may not. What steps can the district take to address staff retention in light of no additional funding from the legislature?
Okay. That's an incredibly challenging question, obviously. We all know that teachers are not paid what they're worth. We all know that. So trying to find creative ways to pay them a little bit more, but find ways to make sure that they understand how appreciated they are. I know we do a lot of different things. We've implemented some new programs this year, the Hard at Work program, where we are offering some different perks and benefits to our staff and their families. We have things like our clinic, a health clinic for the members of the staff and their families to be able to utilize that they don't have to have insurance for. So just looking for those opportunities that we can offer, and again, just showing our appreciation and making sure they understand how much we appreciate the hard work that they do.
I think, You're right on, Kelly. Teachers are not getting paid anywhere close to what they deserve, and appreciation comes in many formats. It can definitely come from the board, it can come from administrators, but it should come from our families as well. I think it's so important for parents to have a way to engage and appreciate teachers, for students to appreciate their instructors, their teachers that are working so hard and have taken on this profession wholeheartedly to serve the community. The other piece can be, and thinking creatively and outside the box is kind of the way I like to utilize my capacities, is having an open forum where teachers can share certain concerns, and teachers can be the ones to come up with ideas to their concerns. We may not agree, we may not be able to provide it, but at least we can hear what their thoughts are, and maybe even providing a mental health day, aside from sick days and paid time off, a day that's just for them to take when they're feeling overwhelmed or they're feeling like there's just a lot going on. I can give you notice, there would be a policy and procedure, and they would have to, be able to leave a lesson plan for a substitute or another teacher to take on, but it could be an opportunity for one additional day every semester to take a deep breath and take care of themselves in order to give back to the students.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we are doing a good job in Allen ISD. I think we could do a little bit better. I know that our teachers get to take advantage of tuition reimbursement. The Foundation for Allen Schools has already given over $140,000 to the teachers, so thank you for that. We have our Teacher of the Year nominations, and one teacher is nominated from each campus, and they get gifts. And so we do have some great acknowledgement programs out there. And I think we need to also lower the stress level for these teachers. What I'm hearing is that some kids are able to be on Snapchat in the classroom. I don't know how that's happening with VPNs, but this is very distracting. That adds a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on our teachers that is unnecessary. So that needs to be addressed. Our teachers need to be empowered that they can enforce all of the rules and just and one thing we don't need to do is put extra burden on our teachers, like trying to make them into counselors, and they didn't go to school for that. So I think there's opportunities there.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I agree with everything said so far. An important thing is to let the teachers know that they are appreciated, and in order to prevent burnout, we might have to do a little bit of thinking outside the box, like was already mentioned. I know that there are some districts in Texas that are looking into a 4-day school week and then having Friday be a in-service day where teachers can get their work done. It's definitely something to look into. Of course, equitable pay and raises, and it's very important to listen to the issues that the teachers have and try and find ways that we can resolve them where we can. And yes, I think we are looking at high turnover coming in shortly, so we also have to think about different ways that we can bring in new teachers. How do we make Allen more appealing to new teachers? Thank you.
Our teachers and our staff at Allen, we're a family, and we need to continue to promote that and make sure that that everyone that comes on board and everyone that are here know that we love each other and we support each other, and that we continue to value each other with our teams and our cadres and our groups and across campuses, and that we support each other and value each other's work, and that the board values each other's work, and that we do everything we can with our administration to look for opportunities to take away extra duties that are not necessary, extra training that's not necessary, extra job demands that are no longer important. Ask the teachers what is important and what can be taken away. What can we do to make their burden less? What can we do to bring value? We need to ask the teachers.
A good teacher is worth their weight in more than gold. I'll tell you a quick story. My oldest has multiple learning disabilities. If it involves reading, language, or written expression, he's got it. 4th grade teacher got him reading. I stopped that car in that parking lot that day, got out of there, and just ran up to her and gave her a hug. This isn't a new problem. The pandemic just simply highlighted the issue that since 2009, we have been seeing more demoralization and burnout for our teachers. They need to be at the front seat of decision-making. We need to be ensuring that they have a seat at the table and are front and center when we're asking what policies are going to be implemented and how that's going to look in their classroom. They know their kids best. They know how their rooms work. They're definitely being asked to do more with less. So resources, ensuring that they're not dipping into their own pockets for items is also very important. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's very true. Our teachers are very important. One of the things I kind of read, which I thought was coming through HB 3, was incentivizing teachers. There's a mentorship program that could be instituted where seasoned teachers could walk alongside new teachers. That would kind of, build that camaraderie that we're talking about here and, allow this new teacher to build relationship, with the whole team. I think that's one opportunity. Another opportunity I would say is that Allen ISD has done pretty well is to give grants to paraprofessionals that are seeking to advance their certification, their teacher certification, and I think that's a great program. So just finding and working and making our teachers feel appreciated. Again, lessening what's on their plate, providing them behavioral support in the classroom, all these things can be accomplished. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Wow, I'm last. What hadn't been said? You know what? We've got to support our teachers. Allen, we're fortunate enough. Allen right now is a destination district. It still is, and it still will be. We have teachers to the east of us, teachers to the west of us, and teachers to the south of us that all want to come work in Allen. In order for us to maintain and retain teachers and continue to hire high-quality teachers, we've got to remain competitive with our salaries and our benefits. We need to pay attention to things such as the insurance rates and how much of the insurance the district can afford to subsidize to help maybe take some of the load off of there, because insurance rates are outpacing pay raises and inflation right now. Teachers want operational input. If we're going to make a big change in the way they do their business, they want to have a say-so in that. But I'm going to say we can also start at home. Guys, email your teacher tonight. Email your kid's teacher. Ask them what their favorite milkshake is. Ask them what they want for lunch. Offer, is there anything you can do for their classroom to make their life better tomorrow? And they'll love you for it, and they'll love us for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the fourth question round is going to start with place 4. Joe, you're going to take this first, and then Amy. Do you anticipate another bond election for Allen ISD and whether or not that's necessary? What do you believe your constituency wants and expects?
Well, yes, another bond is going to be required in order to fix facilities, make new facilities, anything that we need to do, the bond is required. Now, everyone that I've talked to has said that they would like more itemized on how the money is being put into the bonds and where that money is going. They want to know how their tax money is being spent. Also, if you could get more granular with the bonds so that people could pick and choose where their tax money went and what they wanted, then that would be greatly appreciated and it's more likely to pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely going to have another bond. It's probably going to happen within the next 18 months, my guess. And it's probably going to have a lot of repeat items on there that are probably things that we've been unable to address because of the cost of them being outside of our budget and unable to be addressed because of just can't make it happen any other way. And these things are things that are must-haves, and they're going to have them being funded by the bonds in a way that if we continue to put them off, interest rates are going to eclipse us in a way that it's not going to be affordable. So it's got to happen.
Okay. Thank you all. The next question is for the candidates in place 5. Elle, we're going to start with you and then Sanober and Kelly last. What should we be doing to address the learning gaps from the pandemic?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so the learning gap from the pandemic and from the STAR test, the last report for MEET standards was in the 50 and 60% for MEET's grade level which is very, very poor. A lot of districts are having kids repeat grades. I don't want to do that in Allen. I don't think that's a positive thing at all. I'd like to continue to do extended tutoring hours, invest in our summer program. Right now we have legislation coming down the pipeline where the students that don't pass the STAR test are going to have to do 30 hours of extra instruction. That's per each STAR test that they don't pass. So that's not total, that's for each. That's a lot. So we need to make sure that we're partnering with parents on that. If students do have to take that extra instruction over the summer or wherever that may be, but there needs to be total transparency with that. Parents need to be part of that decision, and the summer program just needs to be very, very important, and the tutoring, as well as the resources for the teachers and technology.
So this is referring to House Bill 4545, which has come to fruition, where Elle was sharing with us that students who are in that learning gap, the STAR is one way to be identified and to receive the additional tutoring hours. I think the STAR is one parameter. There are parameters that our teachers who are with our students in the classrooms on a regular basis can also take a look at. It might be worthwhile to have teachers share with the district and with parents where they see the gaps. We're almost at the end of this academic year, so before we have more of a learning loss, we know the summers are always a time for learning loss if children are not academically engaged in any parameter. So it'd be really important in the next few weeks if teachers can creatively and parents can creatively ask teachers, where does my child stand in ELA, in mathematics, in science and social studies for the elementary school and for the middle and high school based on their curriculum. So at least we're aware as parents and as community members, and things can be done individually aside from what the legislator is asking of us.
I think, first of all, we need to recognize that these learning gaps are probably not going to be taken over in a year. It's just not going to happen. That's not realistic. We see that from other events that have happened in the past. We have, obviously, the House Bill 4545, we've been talking about that. We have lots of opportunities for our kids to do tutoring. We have summer programs, things like that. I think one of the greatest things that we've actually put in place is we have a data dashboard that our teachers and our administrators can use to understand for an individual student or an individual class where that class or that student has the most gaps and address those at a much more individualized level. And it's an amazing tool to help our teachers so that you know who needs what resources. And so to utilize that is one of the greatest things that I think we can do here over the next couple of years to help address that. And then just using the federal funds that we've been given to address the things. We have a plan laid out that we're using those funds to provide additional learning. Thank you.
Okay. This next question is for the candidates in place 2, and some of you alluded to this so that you get another opportunity to speak to it. We're going to start with Bill and then Sam and then finish with Christina. Talk specifically about committees or other groups that you've served on in service to the Allen schools and to students.
I've not had the opportunity to serve on committees in Allen as much as I would have liked. As I stated before, I work in a neighboring district. I've worked currently as a school administrator, and I've worked as a district administrator. I spend 226 days a year down there, normally from about 6 a.m. to about 6 p.m., a lot of nights and a lot of weekends. So I do regret the fact that I've not been able to offer as much volunteer service to the Allen ISD committee as most of the members on this panel. What I can tell you, though, is that my career is at a point where I'm able to scale that back. I'm able to scale that back at work, and I'm ready to recommit and commit and put in the time and do the work it takes to help keep Allen ISD best in class. I have the experience. I know how to work hard. I don't take no for an answer. And I feel like my commitment to public education will be seen in this role. Thank you.
Hi there. With regards to serving in Allen, I started at my Children's Elementary campus, Evans Elementary, where I started there as a VP for Ways and Means and worked with our president, who at that time was Amy Knott, and we rolled in a cart of iPads. Next, grew up, my kids went into middle school. There I was PTA president for 2 years and was able to serve the district there and families. And then on to Allen High School as PTA president. But one of the highlights I want to share with you all today was when I was asked to serve on the Tournament of Roses committee that took our 800-plus band members to Pasadena, California, where we partnered with our business community. And I was part of the corporate sponsorship chair, and with my team, we raised over $85,000 to reduce travel costs for all our students. What a great experience, and we made memories. Thank you.
So, I left my career of 19 plus years, so, switched gears completely into a full-time nonprofit founder and president. So my days are spent ensuring families and students and community members and kids have what they need or find resources that they need and help them navigate different environments. But that allows me a lot of flex with my schedule, which I've enjoyed, and it's given me a lot of opportunities to meet new people. I have been on the executive committee for our PTAs. I've been on the Celebrate Me committee at Norton Elementary for 3 years, which was an amazing event that I've loved doing every year. We've done teacher love carts. We've done gift wrapping, things that we just try to do to give back in some small, teeny tiny way to alleviate some of the hours that we know our teachers are going home in December and wrapping like crazy people. I've enjoyed all those opportunities, and I'm looking forward to more.
Thank you all. This fifth round, I'm going to ask this question for the candidates in both places 5 and 4. And so we'll start with Amy and just go down to Kelly. The question is this: as a trustee, how do you ensure you're getting broad community input when making decisions that affect the district?
That's a good question. So it's challenging. It depends on the subject, of course. Some of the stuff, the regular business of the district's pretty boring, honestly. Sometimes half the time the community didn't want to hear about it. But in some cases, if it's a situation where it does cause some deliberation, the role of the trustee is to really take consideration of the voice of the student and the voice of your staff and the voice of the community as a whole. All of us as board members take that in deliberation when we're having our conversations about whatever the topic is. And if it's a conversation, we try to consider all sides of an issue and all sides of the various members of our community and all the students that might be impacted based on the decision. And it may take us weeks to look at all sides of an issue before we make a decision. And that's how we do it. And it can take months. Sometimes it can take months to go over an issue. And that's how it works.
Okay, thank you. Joe?
Well, I guess the best way is to have obvious means of communication, being open to the public, open forums if that's possible. Make sure that the community voice is being heard by everyone on the board and bringing that information in. In the end, the board's job is to do what's best for the kids. But we also want to be able to provide a way for parents to maintain their ability to choose for their kids. Thank you.
I think there's ways to utilize more broad community input. There's surveys. I know the city uses SurveyMonkey to get the input from the community, and I think we can utilize that more in Allen. Survey the students, survey the parents, and just get some more feedback. For the bonds, I know a lot of seniors were saying that they didn't vote for the bond because they don't have students in the district. So we have the senior center, try to do a town hall there, get engaged with the senior center and get their questions answered, basically, because that's what it is. Knowledge is power. And if people understand the expense, then they're going to be for it. But if they don't understand it, they're not going to be for it. That's why a lot of these financial aspects are very confusing to the public, and I think that we need to have more transparency with that, more one-on-one, more, like you said, Zoom meetings, video conferences, that type of thing. And on big decisions, the community needs to be made aware of these decisions. The national anthem was taken away from us when my son Austin was playing football in 8th grade. That's a pretty big decision. The flag was not raised. And I went directly to the superintendent. I'm sorry, I didn't follow the process. She immediately got that flag up, and for the last game of the season, we sang the national anthem proudly with the hats off, and those decisions need to be transparent.
Go ahead.
I want to state that not every community member will be coming to forums like this as we see tonight, or to board meetings, or elderly that may not have children, but it's important to go to the community. So it can be in varying formats. We heard a little bit. I wanted to highlight, in terms of surveys, there are many different platforms. I vouch for Qualtrics. I utilize that professionally, and that data analytics that it provides on the back end to really understand your demographics, who's answering it, even if it's anonymous, and the answers they're providing is incredible to understand our larger population. The other place that I think is very important is incoming families that are moving into the ISD. As Bill had mentioned, teachers, students, parents want to come to Allen ISD. So we definitely need to listen to the future of the ISD as well and find out what are the needs and how do we communicate and give a broad communication and message as to what Allen is providing and what more we can provide for the upcoming years.
Thank you.
So we are about to launch actually a new website that is a community engagement website. And it's going to list all of the opportunities for anyone in the community, regardless of whether you have kids or not, your age range, your interest level, of ways that you can engage with the district, both to learn about the district, but also to provide input to the district. And I think that's one of the greatest tools that we have right now. And I think there's 10 or 12 different things listed on there already. And so that will be launching, I believe, very soon. Then also, again, as we said before, we have open forum at every single meeting, every workshop, every board meeting. Anyone is welcome to come and speak. And usually we don't have anybody. So that's one of the best ways to communicate with us directly, face to face. And then we also have a team of 8 emails. We read all of those. And we either we respond or the administration responds depending on the type of question it is and who is appropriate for it to respond. But we also read the responses so we know what the community is asking and what they're concerned about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Candidates in place too. Let me ask you this question, Christina. I'm going to start with you and then Bill and then Sam. Do you feel like the district does a good job of capturing diverse perspectives when making decisions? And if not, what else should be done that's not being done now?
Sure. I think we do an excellent job, but there's always room to do more. We continually have an influx of new people coming into the community, new teachers, new families, families aging out. So that community makeup, when we're talking about our schools, is constantly changing. So ensuring that we are providing those opportunities for feedback and dialogue and making ourselves accessible at the campus level would do worlds, because that's where the parents are, the caregivers are picking up and dropping off. So that is really kind of a quick touchstone to make sure that we're really on the pulse of what our community is wanting any one given day. So I think while we do a great job, there is always room, and we should always be accepting of those opportunities to discuss and learn more from our community, because they can only come out with a positive.
I really do. I agree with Christina. I think we do a good job. I think we can always be better. One of the great things that I've had the opportunity to work in my career is to work in a very diverse environment. minority-majority districts where we did have the diversity and we were able to celebrate that diversity. My wife and I had the opportunity back in December to really view that here in the committee, or excuse me, in the community. We were out in the community at one of the local parks, and we saw people from all different races and age groups and ethnicities celebrating a beautiful afternoon in their own way. So I do think it's embedded deeply in our community, and it's something that we need to continue to support. And so I do support equity, diversity, and inclusion. I think that there's groups out there that sociopolitically want to drive it as a wedge issue, but it's not if you really understand what it is. Thank you.
All right, so of course, we were a transplant family in 2007, and Allen ISD opened its arms and welcomed us. What did we do? Is we got involved. And I believe Allen ISD has opportunities for us. To whether your kids want to play a band or they want to participate in, soccer or whatever, there are opportunities. But of course, I would definitely encourage parents to get engaged. The district always has a call out. Come to this event, come to that event. So it's a partnership from those coming in, those in our neighborhoods that are leaders, that are, good communicators, that we partner with our district and allow these opportunities to be shared, whether it's on social media or just, at the park. I sincerely believe that with Allen being diverse, we are one Allen. And being one Allen allows us to participate in this one school district, in this one high school, with all having the same mission to get our students educated and to graduate them successfully. Thank you.
Thank you all. So this sixth and final question will be asked of all candidates, and then you've got 1 minute closing afterward, so you'll have 2 more opportunities. And the question is this: assuming that you're elected to the board, what is the difference that you hope to make? In other words, what do you think you might be known for when your term is over? And Bill, we'll start with you and go all the way down.
I think that, and I hope that when my term on Allen ISD Board of Trustees is over, I hope that I'm viewed as a servant leader. I hope I'm viewed as a gentleman who will roll up his sleeves and do the hard work, sometimes the unpleasant work of the board. We're custodians, we're trustees, we're custodians of the public education in Allen, Texas. And I want to be viewed as transparent, I want to be viewed as honest, and I want to be remembered as a servant leader who wasn't afraid of doing the hard work.
Hi there. One thing I want to be remembered by is like a volunteer who was a regular citizen that got involved and collaborated with different groups of people with different ideas and brought consensus, because that is what we need in our world today. Also, I am all for parent rights, allowing parents to be more involved so that they can be part of the decisions. I know we talked about gaining parent input, gaining community input. So let's do that. Let's get together, let's bring consensus, and I believe I can bring that to the school board. That will be an asset to the school board, is collaborating and bringing consensus of different groups. Thank you.
At the end of the day, I want to be viewed as not only a mom and a parent to our kiddos and a friend, but as an advocate. I want to advocate for our teachers and our parents and families. I hope to be remembered and thought of as an honest and open and transparent person that had empathy and understanding for the different backgrounds and individual needs and unique differences that we all have. Diversity is a wonderful thing. It's important that we give every group a seat at the table, but also access to the mic so we can learn and celebrate those differences, and that's how we really thrive as a community.
I hope that from this election process that if I was to be reelected, that I would be known as someone that grew through this process and would be known as someone that learned to listen better and be a better listener and be able to learn from others and be able to be patient and listen and learn and be able to transform my decisions and make better decisions that impact others in a way that is none other than what I've ever done before.
Thank you. Joe?
Well, I want to be known for being open and transparent and available to everyone that needs the support of the board. And I want to be someone that pushes for Allen ISD to be the best that it can for all of its students and all of its parents, which is actually what I assume everyone up here would want.
I want to be known as fair, a voice for the voiceless, brave to bring up certain topics that no one really wants to bring up. I want to learn from others whose views are different from mine. I want to foster unity in the district. I want to lift students up. I was able to double the volunteers at Bolin Elementary. I focused on anti-bullying, anti-drug campaigns. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to expand on that if you elect me.
If I am elected, I would want to ensure that I'm known in the community as an unbiased voice, as an unbiased leader who's open to hearing out every community member, despite the differences that we all bring to the table. And each one of these differences and concerns or suggestions should be listened to. We may not always agree, but we can hear each other out and come up with a conclusion. Also, I want to be sure I'm known to bring on, as a healthcare professional, that hat that we need to, at the table, be aware of our academics, be aware of our physical and mental health of not just our students, but also our teachers and our staff and the families who are serving across Allen ISD, and just making sure our community stays diverse and is inclusive and is vibrant, and it's the landscape that's brought us all here. Thank you.
I hope that I will be known as someone that listens and brings people together to find common ground, to keep Allen great and keep us moving forward in this great direction that we're going, to build on the things that we have in common, to really look for those things and find those things that we can agree on. And we all want our students to be very well educated. I don't think there's anybody up here that doesn't want our Allen kids to be well educated. So we can all agree on that. Let's start there and move forward. I also would like to be known as an advocate for all of our teachers and staff and for all of the students of Allen ISD, every single one of them. We take them all, we love them all, and we want them all to be successful. And then also as someone that can help navigate the crazy world of school finance. With my background in accounting and finance, I believe that's one of the areas that I can really help.
Thank you. Okay, and so final remarks. Each candidate has up to 1 minute. And Kelly, we start with you. In reverse ballot order, come back down to Bill.
Again, I love Allen. That's why we've stayed here for almost 30 years. My kids got a great education here. I feel like we are doing amazing things here. We have amazing teachers and staff. And I just am so fortunate to be a part of that, and I would love to continue to help support that and to work with the great people that we have here in Allen ISD and to just keep Allen great. We're awesome. But there's always, as people say, there's always room for improvement, and to continue to look for those ways and look for those creative ways. We know we've got challenges. And to work with the administration as partners and work with the community as partners to find the best solutions for those that will help all of our students be successful.
Thank you. I want to first say thank you to the organizers of the Friends of the Library for putting this together today and giving us this opportunity to be at the forum, and for my fellow candidates. It's been a really brilliant conversation. I've learned so much from each one of you on your skill sets and what you bring to the table, and for the residents for being here, for being on streaming, and for being civically engaged as residents. In closing, I just want to say that I want to reiterate that I bring something unique in my perspective to Allen ISD. If I'm elected to the Board of Trustees, I'm a healthcare professional and a nurse leader. I'm also a civil servant as a nurse, and I understand teachers who are also civil servants in the community. Having worked nationally, I'm supporting underserved communities in my work professionally, so I am aware on how we can ensure families from all walks of life are served across Allen ISD. I'm an active and informed parent as well. And I know we are talking about new people up here on the board with myself. We bring a new perspective, something different, something that is needed in Allen, and we're seeing a lot of growth and new families coming into the ISD as well. So if you'd like to learn any more about my campaign, you can visit my website. It is cinnoberforallen.com. I'm also open via email. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I thank you. If you are going to be voting, just giving everyone a reminder, early voting is starting next week. Election day is May 7th. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move this sign out of the way because I want to see all of you out there. I can only say this with one sentence. I'm an Eagle mom on a mission to elevate our district to the next level. I offer a brand new approach in Allen ISD by putting parents at the forefront of their children's education. I'm going to go off my notes here because I was listening to a song on the way here, and it reminded me of something that we've been telling parents for years. Get involved. We want to hear you. Speak up. And now that you are, you're getting some pushback. But I'm glad that you're speaking out. I'm behind you 110%. I hear you, students. I get the messages from you too, and teachers as well. So that's what I'm advocating for. I want to elevate your voices. Your opinions and concerns matter, and I will give a voice to the voiceless. I will bring the tough conversations to the surface while finding ways to unify us. We all want our children to succeed. I know we all have that in common, but we have a different approach, and that's where your vote comes into play. The choice is up to you. You can visit my website, lforallenisd.com. Thank you so much for the Friends of the Allen Library. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you again.
Well, thank you all for hearing us all today. I just want to say that I've loved Allen ISD since we've moved here. My kids, they love Allen ISD. I think my diverse background from the military to financial technologies will be a great asset to the board. I've also gotten a lot of new information today. I've appreciated everybody's answers. And going forward, I do hope to find new ways to incorporate that information that I have gotten today and make Allen ISD even better. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. As I'd mentioned, I believe that we continue to have some challenges in public education, and I believe we need to continue to work on student outcomes, teacher recruitment and retention, and of course, our district is building out, and we have continued slow growth. And with that, I believe that we need to have some strong leaders in the seats and the positions in school board, and that is the reason why I'm running for office. I would appreciate your support in place 4 as I get reelected, if I could. And I feel like I'm in a position where I'm well-trained with my 3 years of experience as a master trustee, and I'm ready and locked and loaded and ready to go. So I look for you at the polls. Thank you very much.
First, thank you so much for being here and giving me this opportunity tonight to speak with you. You know, there is no shame in hearing hard criticisms from people. That's where we thrive as a community. That's where we learn and we grow. I think people are individuals with unique needs, and it's important that we're providing opportunities to hear those different perspectives. You know, through those perspectives, we can utilize those to support our talented educators and our staff, our families, and our students. You know, I bring a unique perspective as a disability child and family advocate, and I want to bring those skills to Allen ISD to serve you. You know, together we can give every family a voice at the table.
So thank you so much for moderating, sir, and thank you so much for being here, everyone. I just wanted to end and say, yes, Allen is a diversity, but we are one Allen. And if elected, I look forward to being at all the events of our Allen Eagles and supporting all these students that get up every day, just like all of us, and just persevere through their academics, through their extracurricular activities. And I look forward to standing there and being there at their celebrations. I also value our teachers, and I just want to be that voice that will listen to parent, teacher, and, you know, take the input of students. We are living in days where there have been some unprecedented moments, but I just know that as a community, we are strong. We have this great Allen Eagle spirit that has not dimmed. And ladies and gentlemen, I urge you, come to the polls and vote for Sam Abiog for place 2. I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, thank you to the Rotary Clubs. Thank you to the Friends of the Allen Library for having this forum tonight, and thank each and every one of you for coming and those streaming online for watching. You know, I think it's important when we have hard decisions to make. We're in unprecedented times, and we are facing very, very difficult challenges coming legislatively that affect our finances and affect the ability of our district to run effectively. I think experience matters. I think I've been in public education 16 years. I've worked at all levels, and there's not really a part of a district that I haven't touched as far as the day-to-day operations. I think that experience really can go a long way to help support all of you and your students in the community. I also know there's a whole lot more I'd like to say, but it's hard to say it all in 1 minute. So when we're done tonight, I'm going to be out front. I'll stay as long as it takes to talk to each and every one of you. And if you're free Wednesday, come to Kelly's, because I've got more brisket chips and chicken tenders than I can eat. So y'all come talk to me. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. This concludes the session for Allen ISD trustee. Please give these candidates a warm round of applause.